Welcome back to my channel, you guys. We got to talk about it. Sean Strickland is the champion of the world. He beat Israel Adesanya. He beat him on the feet. He outstruck him. Craziest shit I've probably seen in this sport in a long time. And by the way, I'm sorry if I sound like shit. I've been sick for like the past 4 days. It's been bad. So I'm just going to try to roll with it. But yeah, no, I'm hoping it doesn't sound too bad with the mic and everything. But anyways, Sean Strickland is the champion of the world. It's the era of the Seans, I guess. 2 out of the 3 people are now officially the champs. There was like a picture that was floating around as a meme. It was Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland, and Colby Covington. And now 2 out of the 3 have done it. And it was like the 2 most unlikely, at least in terms of the odds perspective. But yeah, he just made Israel Adesanya look completely dead on the feet out there. He couldn't land anything. He kept going for this question mark kick, and it would wrap around Sean's guard. He would try for hooks. Sean would just make him miss. Sean would land all day with a 1-2. He would throw a teep out there just to, distract him, just kind of keep him guessing. And then would 1-2 all day, and it was money. He ended up knocking down Adesanya with a straight. It looked like Adesanya actually was about to get put out. He stopped for a second to like put his thumb up to make sure that didn't happen. But like, wow, dude. Sean Strickland with the first and only knockdown against Adesanya in his whole career. I mean, at least in the UFC. I don't know if he was ever knocked down before that, but I doubt it. And this is just some crazy shit, man. Sean Strickland did it. He's the man. He deserves this, dude. He's been putting in work. For the last couple of years now, I've been seeing him put the rounds in with literally everybody in the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions, even the divisions a little bit lower than that. And you just love to see it, man. You love to see when a guy like that who puts the work in, all the odds are stacked against him. Everybody on YouTube, at least from what I saw, picked Israel Adesanya. I didn't see not one person pick Strickland. Even all the Izzy haters, they all still picked Izzy. But yet Sean Strickland prevails, man, and you just love to see it. I'm super hyped about this. I think they should do him versus Dricus next. That's like the best matchup to me. Alexander Volkov versus Tuivasa was the co-main event, and this went, I'm sure, how everybody would have expected it. Everybody would have predicted it to be. Alexander Volkov was just too much on the feet. Tuivasa had his leg kicks, but he really wasn't working them enough. And other than that, he would get pieced up by the 1-2. He would get pieced up by that hook around the guard. And anytime they went to the ground, the couple times that they did, Alexander Volkov was just manhandling him down there, and he couldn't do shit about it. He ended up, I thought he was going to TKO him on the ground, but he ended up wrapping up an Ezekiel choke, which is wild. Ty's been getting put through the ringer in his last couple matchups, and it's unfortunate to see, man, because he is a fan favorite, and he does have a fun fight style, but against the like top-notch heavyweights in this division, like the real elite, the top 5, I guess, he just doesn't belong. And it's wild to think of him and Derek Lewis were like in the top 5 together. As for Volkov, I feel like he should fight. Who should he fight? Maybe Tom Aspinall. Wait, no, they already did that. Fuck. And Tom Aspinall kind of smoked him. I don't know what they should do with Volkov. Maybe he should fight the loser of Aspinall and whoever Aspinall fights next. Or if he wants to stay active, he can take on somebody else ranked around him, or a new up-and-comer. Man, I don't know. It's difficult with that division because it's super shallow, but I'm sure he'll be active. Manel Kape, the man who decided to be based as fuck and steal the press conference and stand up to Israel Adesanya with Tuivasa's big ass right there in the middle of them, just as he was bitching out Kai Kara France. Like, that was crazy. And he ends up taking on an undefeated Brazilian newcomer from Shoot Box, so you know he's going to be a tough test. And the kid was putting on a scrap, to the surprise of, for some reason, the commentary and a lot of people, I guess. Like, you guys should have expected this from an undefeated kid. He's going to come in there with swagger. But Manel Kape was just too much, and he started to take over as the fight continued, really landing with his straight punches. It just seemed like his footwork and his elusiveness was too much. But let's talk about the most base moment of the night. Like the whole night, aside from Sean Strickland winning the belt, Kai Kara France and Manel Kape decide to go back at it after Manel Kape wins, and he goes on the mic, and he's bitching out Kai Kara France again, and he says something along the lines of, if you pull out of our fight again, I'm going to fly to where you are, and I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to smack you in the face or some shit like that, and none of your teammates will do nothing about it, because you're all a bunch of F-bombs. And it was just fucking awesome. So that was just one of the best moments of the entire night, because you just didn't expect it. And the way his accent was making everything sound like, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, that shit was awesome. Next up, we have Justin Tafa versus Austin Lane. This one was unfortunate for me because I bet on Austin Lane and he fucked up like 3 parlays. But I mean, it is what it is. This is the game we play. He was looking athletic out there, moving around nice, but at the end of the day, Justin Tafa lands like a fucking truck when he does land, and he landed quick. He put it out cold. It's his like 4th or 5th sub 2-minute win in the UFC, and he's only had like so many fights where in general, but especially where he's won. So that's just wild. And then similarly, we have Tyson Pedro versus Anton Turkalj, the Pleasure Man. Pleasure Man ain't pleasuring nobody on that night. That was tough. Tyson Pedro put him out cold really quickly, and then hits a pretty slick outro, I guess that's what we're gonna call it. Nah, he hits a pretty slick emote, I guess. He does this thing like a samurai with a sword. The only problem with it is that you have to have the sword out first to put the sword back. That was my only problem with it, but other than that, it was awesome. It looked sick. It's gonna be cool for his highlight reel. Then we have Carlos Ulberg taking on Da Un Young, and Da Un Young's wrestling, I'm really surprised with that double leg takedown. That shit is pretty as hell. But other than that, he didn't have much, and Carlos Ulberg is just looking like a really nice prospect for the light heavyweight division. He's looking like too much for the bottom, even the bottom top 15 or like anything outside of that. I think he's going to be too much for them. He ends up wrapping up a choke that at first they didn't call as a choke, but they cleared it up with the review, which is awesome. I'm glad they're using that to its advantage, using it what it's used for, and yeah, he has a submission, so that was dope. It was a dope night of fights. Sean Strickland is the champ, man. That's fucking awesome. I'm just going to leave you guys at that. Have a good one. Sean's the champ.